This is the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, a rather expensive controller for that elite group of gamers. But what about us gamers on a budget? Us peasants? Lower class gamers who want that Xbox Elite Series 2 experience. Could the Gulikit KK3 Max be our answer? Let's take a closer look. Here sits two pretty good controllers. In this corner, with a couple of tricks under its sleeve. And in the other corner, a solid, well-built controller that'll set you back anywhere from $150 to $180, but it's capable of something its opponent isn't. The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller is something that I spent far more money on than I wanted to. I said I'd never, and can you believe I actually thought I got a deal. Elite Series 2 controller, which normally goes for anywhere from $150 to I think $180. I picked this up on Amazon for $115, $116. I just noticed something. When I was going through the box, I didn't actually see there's no back button paddles. All right, so I'm on Amazon's website and I'm looking at my order, and apparently I didn't pay attention. This is the Xbox Elite Series 2 core wireless controller, which does not include all the accessories. I will say that I finally understand why people pay so freaking much for this controller. It is really well built. Every component in this controller feels premium, the build quality feels pretty solid, and the weight, it speaks for itself. The Gulikit KK3 Max, on the other hand, while built okay, feels a little lighter, airy. The components feel a little looser than the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. Personally, I can't stand the D-pad on the Gulikit KK3 Max. I just find it uncomfortable to use, and it doesn't keep your thumbs planted like the one on the Xbox Elite controller. Now, the circle D-pad on the Xbox Elite controller is far superior. It keeps your thumbs within the perimeter of the D-pad. Its metal design allows for sliding your thumbs amongst the D-pad effortlessly. And it's a no-brainer when it comes to design for D-pads that have the capability of 4 and 8 directions. Directional. I don't even know how to put that into words, but hopefully you get my point. And another feature of the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller when it comes to the D-pad is the D-pad is magnetic. You can also get a traditional D-pad for the Xbox Elite at an extra cost, of course. Alright, so the theme continues. Solid. The action buttons on the Xbox Elite controller, when pushed in, the click is strong, and they spring back pretty quickly. Now, I wouldn't use spongy to describe the action buttons on the Gulikit KK3 Max, but the click isn't as bold. It's kind of soft and offers very little feedback. Moving on to the bumper buttons. The Gulikit KK3 Max bumper buttons feel like membranes. The click isn't as solid as the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. Honestly, they feel good, but the placement kind of makes you have to put your fingers in a position that is, well, feels kind of awkward. The click isn't as solid as the Xbox Elite. The Xbox Elite, despite the fact that they have a premium look and feel to them, they are made of plastic, kind of have a hollow feel, they do feel like pretty solid micro switches. All right, let's stop being stupid. Both controllers have what I like to call hybrid triggers. On either side of the controller, you'll find these switches that can change between digital analog triggers and micro switch triggers. I remember being really surprised in the Gulikit review that the Gulikit had this feature. I pressed down and I felt micro switches, and instantly I was pissed and disappointed. But then I read the manual, and honestly, coolest thing I've ever seen on a controller. There is a switch on the back of the controller. If you push that switch to the side for either of the triggers, it's now analog. Tell me that's not cool. I remember thinking that this was the first time that I've ever experienced this, and it was some sort of new, amazing technology. And then somebody in the comments brought me down from my high and let me know that the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller had this. But as far as the Xbox Elite Series 2, I find it to be more of a dead zone switch, which you can also change in the app. We'll get into that more later. Loser. I don't know what the that does. I'm an idiot. The triggers on both controllers are really good. In game, they're really responsive. I just feel like the Xbox Elite's triggers are just a little bit more on the stiffer side. Just a little something that I noticed while playing Need for Speed Heat, and maybe I'm just imagining this, but I felt like I had more control over the car with the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. Seems like the controls are definitely tighter than the Gulikit KK3 Max, especially those thumbsticks. The sticks on the Elite controller are definitely weighted, and you can feel every single movement within the whole body of the controller. These analog sticks do feel pretty good. They do make a lot of noise though. The Elite comes with this tool, and the sole purpose of this tool is to adjust the tension on the sticks, which firms or loosens the resistance of the sticks. The Gulikit's sticks, on the other hand, feel kind of loose, but they do snap back to center really quickly, and from what I can tell, they're really responsive in game. However, the Gulikit KK3 Max has something up its sleeve that expensive Xbox Elite controller doesn't, and that's the Hall Effects joysticks, which apparently will never drift. The back paddles honestly feel good on either controller. The Xbox Elite's top paddles are a little bit smaller than the Gulikit KK3 Max and feel a little bit more comfortable to use because of their placement. The Xbox Elite paddles are pre-programmed to the action buttons, whereas the Gulikit KK3 Max's back paddles have to be programmed before use. While gaming, if your fingers aren't exactly placed at the top tip part of the Xbox Elite paddles, you might accidentally press the bottom paddles. On the Gulikit KK3 Max, this is a little less likely because of the size of the paddles. So the question, is the Gulikit KK3 Max a good cheap alternative to the more expensive Xbox Elite Series 2 controller? The Gulikit KK3 Max, not as good of build quality as the Elite, but it has a ton of custom features you can set up directly from the controller, Hall Effects sticks, and overall, I think it's a really good controller for $80. Now, before you head out, you run out there, and you go and pick up the Gulikit KK3 Max, know this. The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller is superior in build quality. Controls are tighter, which in my opinion made me feel like I had more control over movement and responses in game, and it has one thing that the Gulikit KK3 Max doesn't, and that's precise adjustments made possible by the Xbox accessory app, which you can get on Xbox and PC. With this app, you can really dial in on the vibration intensity. There's a ton of control over the dead zones of the sticks and the triggers, full control over the mapping of the buttons and the sensitivity. That Xbox Elite accessory app just might make you a better gamer. God, that line alone was really lame, wasn't it? If you have any questions or you think that I left something out, which I tend to freaking do sometimes, don't hesitate to let the We Deem Gaming community know down below. This video, unfortunately, has taken this idiot 4 months to complete. This isn't even the original video, which I cut because I thought it was way too long-winded. Yes, this idiot talked too much, and I just wanted myself to shut up. If you're interested in seeing the original video, I have a link in the description down below, along with some links to the products discussed in this video and some links to follow We Deem on social. Now I think it's finally time to go play some damn video games, because for some odd reason, even though I'm a gamer, I never get to actually game. I guess as for now, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Guys, instead of staring at my ugly mug, why don't you go ahead and check out one of our other videos? 1, 2, I'll wait. My busted face ain't going nowhere.